So what is a typical day like when you're running your own transitional home, group home, or recovery home? It's different. So different people are going to give you their different opinions or their different experiences. So I can only give you mine. So for me, I'm very hands-on. I've tried property managers. I'm not too crazy about them. House managers. What I do for my house manager is I always take someone within the unit. So I may take the person that's the most, has the best mental well-being or mentally fit, and I would put them in charge of the unit. And of course, you give them perks. You work that out with however you're going to work that out with them. For me, if there's someone that, of course, I usually deal with people who are funded. So if they are funded, I would say, okay, I'll reduce the amount of the monthly rent so they can have extra money in their pockets. Or I would give them certain freedom. Some people just like having certain control over things, being able to tell everyone, hey, this is your curfew, you can't do this. And some people like that. They love that being given that level of responsibility. So what I do is, because you're dealing with grown people that can self-manage for the most part, I make sure that I have cameras around the ground. So I have blink cameras on the outsides of the grounds. What I like about it is I can run it from my phone or my tablet. So I'll pick up my tablet, communicate with people, you can text, all of that stuff. You could collect money directly through these apps, so Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. You could work that out. Some individuals, I'm gonna say one because I have a few individuals where their organization will do it this way. So I had someone that was mentally disabled, but she was also in recovery. The people sponsoring her paid 3 months of her rent up front, so they gave me the check. Then at the end of those 3 months, they sent another check. I had two women that came from the parole board, and how that works is they gave me 6 months of their rent up front, and at the end of that 6 months, they're supposed to be on their feet, ready to be productive citizens in society. They could always renegotiate. You could always renegotiate with their parole officer. At the end of that, if they're not on their feet, and you have the option to keep them and let them find a job and then pay their rent on their own, or sometimes the parole board or whoever their funder is, I shouldn't say parole board, they're not the one funding it, but the organization that's funding them may give them an extra 3 months or so in funding. It has its ups and downs. Like when you have someone that's really horrible and you have to get them out, that could be a nightmare to everyone else. Like you can lose business if you have someone in there that's very disruptive. Other people will move out. A good example I can give is I had someone who was super morbidly obese, and he could not move around, but he had a care attendant, home aide, but he stunk. He smelled really bad, and other people can smell him. It was very little that could be done because he just couldn't get out of bed, and he often had to use the bathroom within his room in buckets. I didn't know this, of course. This was not made clear to me. So that's a problem when those things are not made clear to you up front. That could definitely be a problem. So anyway, that's a quick video. I'm not going to ramble on and on. I'm Mitchell H. If you want to know more, you can go to my website, www.cmhscd.com, to learn more. Thank you.